Hey, everybody, it is Scott Steen with winnersandwhiners.com coming to you with Today in Sports Betting. I'm joined by my partner, as always. Happy Friday, everybody, and happy Friday to you, Scott. We got a little fun belt action here on Friday night. I don't know. I'm psyched. You ready for this game?
Yeah, you know me though. I'm gonna be watching college basketball, but at the end of the day, it should be a good matchup between two Sun Belt teams that I got to assume can't stand each other because they always seem to be involved in pretty big games. Not so much this year, but for the most part, they seem to either match up in the conference title game or something that goes on at the course of the year. So I expect it to be a good game. So do the odds makers because they currently have this line set at 3, so you should expect a nail biter. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, App State is the home team up there in Boone, North Carolina, favored by 3 points over the Louisiana Lafayette, or just Louisiana, if you prefer, Raging Cajuns. Scott, looking at this game, it's a lot. There's a lot of similarities between these two teams. They're 4 yards apart in total offense. Appalachian State rushes for a few more yards every game, but Louisiana is a little better than yards per carry. But they both are very good. As Louisiana goes for 5.8, and App State goes for 5.4. Both of those, by the way, are top 15 in the nation. Appalachian State, as you might suspect, very good total defense, 18th in the nation total defense. But here's what surprises a lot of people. Raging Cajuns not too far behind. They rank just 33rd in the nation in total defense. And we should have a pretty good battle on our hands. Your initial thoughts on this one?
My initial thoughts here are I kind of wish we had another Friday football game just to add to the volume. But, of course, COVID got in the way of a couple of games that were supposed to take place tonight.
Did we get some canceled for tonight?
I'm pretty sure we were. At least I thought we did.
I didn't even know. I hadn't seen anything canceled for this one. But
yeah, we were supposed to have UTEP, Southern Miss, and Boise State UNLV. So 2 games that weren't supposed to be good either. But the more the merrier when it comes to college football on a Friday. So 1 out of 3,
So you're telling me, and I don't want to give away too much for the next show, but you're telling me we would have had UTEP, Southern Miss, and Akron and Bowling Green in the same weekend?
Yes.
God, no wonder you watch college basketball.
Well, the Akron game is, I'm not going to lie, it's not on TV. If it was, I would probably watch it. That's something that's like, that's a what is that, the car crash that's so terrible you can't look away?
Yeah, that's kind of what that is. I don't want to give away too much for our next show, and you and I pick our favorite 3. I've got to play in that game.
I actually thought about giving out a play in that game. So I did not, but I actually did think about it.
All right, so this one, looking at the line here, actually gone down. A little money coming in on the Cajuns. Scott's down to 2.5 right now. App State, after being 3 for most of the week, a little money starting to come in on the Raging Cajuns. Your any thoughts about that move?
Well, I'm kind of noticing the move on the total a little bit more, as the total has gone from 53 to roughly 51 and a half. So I've seen a lot of money coming in on the under. The money coming in on Louisiana Lafayette doesn't fully surprise me because of the fact that they're ranked and the other team isn't. So people can make the argument that it's a public move, that they're just going to be backing the ranked team in the spot. I think it could just be based on the fact that Louisiana Lafayette might be the better overall team in this spot, which I think is a sentiment that I don't know if I fully agree with, but it's what some people do. I think these teams are somewhat even, and when in doubt, when they're even, you take the points. So that doesn't fully surprise me. Plus, you have home field, whatever that means anymore. I mean, it doesn't mean as much as it used to.
Yeah, they put a few in the stands up there in Boone.
Yeah, they have some, but I'm saying it's not the equivalent.
No. There's no home field advantage like there was before. I'll tell you a factor that could come into play here, and I'll check the most recent forecast. But when I took a look at this game last night before I went to bed, they were calling for a lot of rain. It's going to be not going to be snow, but it's going to be a cold rain, going to be a low in the 40s. And wind will be picking up throughout the game. So there's definitely a lot of factors that can certainly lead to the under in this one. I see why the money is coming in on the under. On this one, I do have a play of the day, or I do have my premium pick on the side, but I did do a video on the on the total, and I'm looking at the forecast here, Scott.
Say no more. I can speak for the sake of the two of us if you can't disclose any of the information, because I got nothing on this game, so I can give my opinions on it. First side, I know that people are making the argument Lafayette might be the better team. I know they're ranked. I get all that. I like App State. They've played 8 times. App State's 8-0. I can't really go against App State when I know that at some point it's got to be mental, don't you think? I mean, I know App State keeps rotating head coaches every year because they keep.
Well, be a little more specific there. These two teams have played 8 times. App State is 8-0 on the season. You're talking about App State.
I'm talking about head-to-head.
Right.
Head-to-head, they've played 8 times historically, and App State is 8-0. And I don't mean back in 1995. I mean from 2014 to 2019, App State's 8-0. And that includes title games and stuff like that in conference play. So App State's dominated the series. I know you have to wonder at some point if it gets mental for Lafayette. I know App State, as I was saying before, rotates head coaches every year because they have a really good year. Then they move on to a bigger program, and then they kind of just repeat the cycle over and over again. But yet Lafayette still can't beat them ever. And I know that this year might be a good time for them to do so. But at some point, App State, I know, has nothing really to play for anymore because they're not going to be going to the conference title game for the first time in several years. I think they're going to want to go out with a bang, try to get themselves a good potential bowl game here. I think they're going to be getting a very good one because they've already lost 2 games, both of those to undefeated Marshall and undefeated Coastal Carolina. So their losses really aren't that bad. But at the end of the day, they really don't have much left to play for. They got Georgia Southern on the road next week, but, I mean, Coastal's already clinched a spot. Lafayette's already clinched a spot in the conference title game. I know that Lafayette cares about, getting some revenge. Do they really care that much about this game? Because they're already clinched into the conference title game anyway. I don't think they're getting a New Year's Six bowl no matter what.
I think they do, Scott, and I think this is a game that matters for a couple different reasons to them. Number one, it matters from a historical perspective. Like you said, they've never beat them. Mm-hmm. That has to stick in the craw of the coaching staff and, of course, for some of the more veteran players there at Louisiana. Number two, you're playing for a good bowl, or you know what, you may be playing for a bowl game in general because a lot of bowl games have been canceled. They're not going to go deep into a lot of these conferences, and the Sun Belt's going to be one of them where they're not going to reach 5 or 6 deep, most likely, to find bowl participants. I think every game you could be with these middle of the road conferences like this. I think every game you could be playing for a bowl, not just what kind of bowl game, but a bowl game in general.
I think that's true, but I think you make the argument that if Lafayette does end up losing this game and if they still win the conference title, then they're going to a bowl game no matter what anyway.
Yeah, that's certainly the way that it would appear, but
I know what you're saying. You can't leave that to chance. I get the point you're trying to make. It's a matter of there's a lot that you can't control, but Lafayette, if they fall behind early in a hypothetical, do I think some of them might be looking ahead to the conference title game because they really have nothing to play for with about 2 weeks left? I think it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible. I'm
just throwing it out there. It's a variable that I have to at least mention briefly.
I don't see lack of motivation as a factor here. I mean, if you
it depends on how badly they want to finally beat this one team or not. But at the end of the day, usually they wanted to beat them because it was for a conference title or they were fighting for a spot. It's very rare that you have both teams in a conference that clinched a spot already with like 2 or 3 weeks to go. I mean, it's a wrap. There's nothing to talk about. You got Lafayette going up against Coastal in the conference title game. And I think App State cares because they, of course, don't really have many bigger games on the horizon. Louisiana Lafayette does. So I think that might play a factor.
Well, I'll tell you the part that kind of sticks in my craw about App State scoring a bunch of points tonight, Scott, and that's the fact that they've run up some totals and they've won some games against some really, really bad competition.
You're not impressed by Troy?
I'm not impressed by Troy, and that's probably the best team that they've played outside of their 2 losses. Now they did do a great job against Troy. Totally manhandled there, especially in the first half. But the 2 good defenses that they've gone up against have been in their 2 defeats, and that was against Coastal and the other one they played against Marshall. Now against Marshall they scored 7 points. Against Coastal they put up 23. that's slightly troubling because this is a Louisiana team with a very good defense. You always think about Louisiana, think about them running the ball, you think about a high-powered offense.
Well, in the people's defense who think that, they did score 70 in their last game against UL Monroe.
Okay.
I'm just saying. So they do have in addition to the great defense that you're about to mention, the offense has been very solid lately, and it's fresh in people's minds.
Oh yeah, I mean sure, and I'm sure that plays into something when they see somebody that hung a 70. There was a time.
First half.
There was a time when Louisiana Lafayette and Monroe that was actually a rivalry game, but Monroe has been really falling off the cliff here lately. So
for me, just to go through everything, I'm leaning under
okay.
because of the bad weather and the fact that both teams, I think, should be able to limit each other offensively. The Raging Cajuns are solid offensively, but Levy Lewis in that offense, they kind of struggle when you take away their ability to run the ball, which you just talked about. And I think App State is physical enough up front to at least limit their success up in the ground game as they've done in years past. So I think this will be a low-scoring game. I think this game is going to end probably in the 40s. I would say 24-20, something like that. That's how I see it going, but I'm going to go with App State. I think that this line is pretty close based on the total, and this line's pretty close based on the spread. But when in doubt, I'm going with Old Reliable, and that's with App State winning against Louisiana Lafayette.
All right, I'm gonna play the under. Like I said, I do have a premium on the side, but I do like the under here, Scott. I think this App State offense is going to struggle. Zach Thomas, as good a quarterback as he is he is prone to mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very opportunistic Lafayette defense. Combine that with the weather, I wouldn't be surprised to see him throw at least one pick and maybe a fumble or two thrown in there as well.
That's the fascinating part about these quarterbacks is the fact that both quarterbacks are flawed, but in completely opposite ends of the spectrum. Where Zach Thomas is flawed because he just makes a ton of mistakes at really random times and makes bad throws. I think Levy Lewis is the opposite, where I don't think he takes enough chances downfield, like at all. No. He's like the exact opposite of the spectrum, but they're both flawed in their own right.
Yeah, you're right. Neither one of these guys are going to be playing on Sunday. But yeah, they are awful good quarterbacks for the Sun Belt. Mm-hmm. Both of them have acquitted themselves well. Of course, Levi Lewis is going to be able to run a little bit better.
Yeah.
But it's certainly integrated into their offense. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be a fun game. I don't think there's going to be a ton of points. It could be sloppier than we anticipate. I think it's going to be a defensive struggle, and I'll take the under 51.5.
Yep, I'm leaning to the under.
Stands right now, and you got the under as well. There you go. All right, guys. We sorry that we had a couple of cancellations and we couldn't bring you our hot takes on the on the Southern Miss. What was it? Southern Miss and who? UTEP. Oh God. Oh man, got any thoughts on that one?
I feel like both teams are happy it got canceled.
Oh God. Are you sure it wasn't a mercy killing?
I don't think it was, but you never know.
Somebody just went and looked at the schedule. We're going to cancel this.
They called each other up and just said, "You know what? I'd rather just chill home. I chill at home today."
Yeah, have a Friday night off with the family.
Mm-hmm.
Order pizza, watch some Netflix, beats the hell out of whatever else you guys had planned. So, but we do have a good one here up in Boone. It's one of those games where you watch it and you go, man, I'm going to throw another log on the fire, and I'm glad I'm not there. So God bless all you diehards up there in Boone, North Carolina, getting ready to go to this game because it's going to be a cold one. For myself and for Scott Reichel, we're both on the under. So there you go, guys. As always, we want you to drop a comment in the comment section. Let us know what your thoughts are on this game. If you've got it handicapped the same way we do, or are we absolutely out of our minds? Wouldn't be the first time. So make sure you drop us a comment. Of course, as always, don't forget to like our videos and subscribe. You know why? Because we're needy. We need that approval.
We're needy and we're greedy.
Needy and greedy. Nice.
Thank you.
That sounds like a hell of a dual threat coming out of the backfield.
Something like that.
And as always, if you're looking for more information on this game or any other of the games that are going to be played this weekend, make sure you stop by and check out the one and only winnersandwhiners.com, the best source on the interwebs for all things sports related and sports betting related. So you will find no other site like it. Trust me, get over there. You'll love it. winnersandwhiners.com. And for myself, for Scott Reichel, for all of us over here at winnersandwhiners.com, we appreciate you watching today. Hope every one of those bets in your pocket turns into cash money back at the window. Stay tuned as Scott and I break down the rest of the college card on our next video and give our 3 favorite picks. All right, you guys take care, and we'll see you next time on Today in Sports Betting. Bye-bye, everybody.